We are in the dog days of summer, but there is still work to be done. Let's find out what we should be doing with our off-season checklist. Welcome back to the Dynasty Nerds YouTube page. I'm your host, Garret Price, and let's get into some things that we should be doing this offseason. Yes, I understand we're in the end of June here. We're not thinking as much about our Dynasty teams, our fantasy teams, as maybe we would be during the draft time or come middle of August. But look, this time of year is where champions are made. If you're doing the work now, you're giving yourself that extra 10%, that extra 15%, that extra 20% chance to increase your odds of winning a championship or building a better rebuild team or whatever your goal is this season. This time of year is where you can really take advantage. So here's some things on my checklist that I want to make sure that I'm doing this offseason. Number one, go through all of your teams. We have a revisionist history when we remember our teams all the way back from January and December. Because look, let's be honest. Some of our teams overachieved. Maybe it was a team that they were not the best team in the league, but they had a couple hot weeks and they won the league. We think of our teams much more fondly than maybe they actually are. Maybe they're not as good. Or the opposite. Got some bad string of injuries and we got booted in the first round of the playoffs. Well, now we think of that team as a subpar team. We go back and actually take a look at the team. We might see we're in a little bit better shape than we originally realized. So go back and look at these teams. There's also guys that have changed teams, free agency, trades, new draft picks, all kinds of things that may have altered your guys' team. So go back and actually look through each and every one of these teams. I understand it. If you're only in one or two leagues, that's pretty quick. If you're like me and you're in like 20 leagues, that might take a little while. But take the hour or so and go through and look at every single team. Number two, send out some trade offers on trending players. Now, I say trending players. They don't necessarily have to be guys that we're talking about as the biggest names that are moving up and down. But if you're watching this, you're probably ahead of the game a little bit. You're probably someone that is doing the work right now. Most of your league mates are not. So go ahead and send some trade offers out there on some guys that you think have moved in the right direction or opposite. Maybe trade away players that you think are moving in the wrong direction based on how things are going this offseason, from the draft, from mini camps and all of those things. We don't want to overreact to all that, but it is good to have little nuggets of information here and there, and that could help us make some big time decisions. Number three, find ways to wake your league up. Yes, it might be from the trade that I talked about before, sending a trade offer out there to help your team kind of move in the right direction. Anytime league mates see a big trade, that gets things moving. But sometimes trades just aren't there or your league mates aren't available. Put some polls on the chat page. Maybe do a little auction off of one of your players and auction one off. Maybe get an individual league podcast where either you or some sort of expert is talking about your league. That always tends to get leagues moving, makes trades happen, trash talk, people disagreeing, all of that fun stuff. But find some way to wake your league mates up. It's only going to help your league long term. Number four, think of any rule changes. Yes, this is the time of year. If you remember from last year and you're like, man, that was pretty annoying, this is the perfect time of year to get those rule changes in. It gives league mates time to think about it, discuss it, debate it, and ultimately, hopefully pass those new league rules before the season starts, because we know once the season starts, it's just too late for that kind of stuff. So get ahead of the game and try to figure out what rule changes you might need for your league this year. Some of them can be done pretty quickly. Okay, we're changing our fab from our free agency from fab to waiver wires or waivers into fab. Those kind of things, those happen pretty quick. All right. Most people are moving from waiver wire to fab for what it's worth. But some might take a little bit longer. Like, hey, we want to move to a super flex league. Okay, you might vote on it this year, but it might take 2 or 3 years until you actually implement that. Teams need time to adjust and change to that kind of rule. Number five, And this one is to one specific group, and number 6 will be to the other group. But if you haven't had your rookie draft yet, and you draft typically more similar to common redraft times, grind some tape. Take a look at these rookies. There's no better place to go than the Dynasty Nerds film room. We've got all of the rookies. We've got all 22 tape on these guys. Make sure you go in there and watch this rookie class. Get ahead of the game. Figure out who you like, who you don't like, things like that. It is a great way to get ahead. And look, maybe you're not a film guy. That's okay. Dig into the analytics on the rookie class, but make sure you're doing your homework on this rookie class and not just scrambling the day or two before to try to make sure that you have all the information that you need. Last one applies to the people that maybe already did have their rookie draft. Now, I'm guessing a lot of people watching this probably already had their rookie draft. So if that's the case, if you already had your rookie draft, start sniffing around those 25 picks. Everyone now at this point, they've moved on from this 24 class. They're looking at the season. 25 rookie picks are very, very inexpensive. There are some really good running backs and some top-end wide receivers that are going to be really exciting in this year's class. But they're only going to get more expensive. And then you know how expensive they are come draft time for your league. So if you want to get in on that 25 class, now's the time to start putting some offers out on those 25 rookie picks. Hope you guys enjoyed this list. If you have any other things that you guys have on your checklist, feel free to put them in the comments below, and maybe we'll add them to a future video.